Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something a bit meta, actually.
Meta is the word for it.
Yeah, it came from a comment from you, the learner, which got us thinking. So if you've ever been listening to something, maybe a podcast, and had that weird feeling like, hang on, is this actually real?
It's a really interesting place to start, especially given what we've been digging into.
Right.
We've got a bunch of sources here, articles, some tech breakdowns, listener feedback too, all looking at this growing world of AI-generated podcasts.
Discussing AI podcasts.
Yeah.
Using a podcast format.
Exactly. It's quite the loop.
And just to frame this whole thing, think about YouTube for a second. It's massive for podcasts now.
Oh, unbelievably so.
Over 1 billion people. 1 billion every month tuning into podcast stuff there globally.
And in the U.S., it's ahead of Spotify and Apple now for weekly listener.
Yeah, like 31% prefer YouTube. Spotify's at 27%. Apple's 15%. It's a big shift.
And video is a huge driver there.
Totally. Video podcasts, they're growing like crazy, 42% year over year.
And the projection is, what, around 36% of all podcasts will have video by 2025.
Something like that, yeah. So you've got the changing landscape, audio and visual.
And then you throw AI into the mix.
Which is the big question, right? How are these AI tools changing things? And I guess, how does that change things for you listening? So, okay, AI in podcasting. It sounds like it's not just a future thing.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Oh, absolutely. It's very much happening now. I mean, look at the numbers. For 2024, the estimate is AI generated something like $3 billion in value in podcasting alone.
3 billion, wow.
Yeah, and maybe even more striking, around 40% of podcasters. They're already using AI tools in some way.
40%. Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean fully robot hosts, right?
Yes.
It could be editing help, stuff like that.
Exactly. That's a key point. It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
From AI assisting with production, editing, show notes, all the way to potentially generating content. But yes, a lot of that 40% is likely AI assisted.
Gotcha. Still, that's a huge number of creators integrating it.
And it's not just creators. Think about listeners. You! Around 57% of listeners have apparently interacted with AI features already.
How so? Like what?
Well, think about personalized recommendations. You know, you listen to this, you might like that.
Right.
Or even just using voice commands on your smart speaker to play or pause a podcast. That often involves AI.
Huh. So we're kind of already living in it, maybe without fully realizing.
Pretty much. An AI-enhanced listening environment.
Okay, but then there are the tools that can actually make the whole podcast from scratch. That feels like the next level.
It really does. And they're popping up. We looked into a few. There's one called Any2 Podcasts.
Any2 podcasts, okay.
Yeah, and it does what the name suggests. You can feed it like a PDF, a link, even a YouTube video.
And it turns it into a podcast.
Into a podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
With different AI voices, you can choose like hosts and guests, apparently customizable ones.
Whoa. So I could give it a research paper and it would discuss it.
That's the idea, a simulated conversation based on the content.
That is wild.
Then there's another one, Monica's AI Podcast Generator. Similar concept, focused on speed. Turning web pages, videos, text into podcasts really quickly.
Making it super accessible then.
Seems to be the goal. And Google's got skin in the game too, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Notebook LM?
Notebook LM. They call it instant AI podcasts. You upload your documents, links, whatever.
And it just generates a chat about it.
Basically, yeah. An AI-generated conversation based on the material you provide.
Okay, now this is where it gets really fascinating for me. What's it like to listen to these? Can you tell? Do people care?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What's the perception? Interestingly, Podbean did a survey.
Oh, yeah.
And found that, like, 85% of people they asked think it's actually ethical for podcasters to use AI tools.
85%, that's high.
It is. But again, there's that nuance. Using AI tools versus a fully AI-generated show. Where do you draw the line?
Right. Is it like using fancy editing software? Or is it something fundamentally different when the person talking isn't a person?
Exactly. And that line is getting blurrier. If a human sets the topic, feeds the info, and AI delivers it, who's the author? How authentic does it feel to you?
Does it still feel authentic? Yeah.
And the reactions we've seen are all over the place. There was this piece by a PC Gamer writer.
Right.
They fed one of their own articles into Notebook LM, listened to the AI podcast it generated, and their reaction was basically, holy less.
Really? That's strong.
Yeah. They were apparently blown away by how natural the conversation sounded, the cadence, even what they described as like lifelike emotion in the voices.
Lifelike emotion. From AI, that's something,
That
eh?
really makes you think about perception, doesn't it?
It does, but surely not everyone feels that way.
No, definitely not. We saw a YouTuber expressing real concern. Their worry was about online interactions generally, like if comment sections might be full of bots.
Ah, right. You start second-guessing everything.
Exactly. Does it damage that feeling of genuine connection with creators if you suspect you might just be talking to an algorithm? It impacts that sense of community, maybe.
That hits on a core reason why people connect with creators online, that perceived authenticity.
For sure. And then there's the whole accuracy issue. Can you trust what the AI is saying?
Good point. Does it actually understand the material?
Well, one review we saw of an AI generator praised the delivery, said it sounded impressive, but also flagged a fundamental lack of understanding.
Meaning?
Meaning the AI apparently just made stuff up sometimes, invented facts, created connections or analogies that weren't in the source material at all.
Okay, so it can sound convincing, maybe even emotional, but it might be confidently incorrect.
That seems to be a major risk right now. The comprehension isn't necessarily there, even if the delivery is improving dramatically.
Which loops back to that question from the AI expert, Anjana Susarla.
Right. What are we going to use it for? Do we really need these capabilities?
Yeah. Just because we can make an AI that sounds like a podcaster, should we? What's the real purpose?
It forces you to step back and think.
And it makes you think about, well, why do we listen to podcasts anyway? What are you, the listener, actually looking for when you hit play?
That's such a crucial question in this context, and there are lots of reasons, right? There's the learning aspect. Podcasts are efficient for information. You can get deep dives, expert views.
Like painless learning, right?
And-
While you're commuting or doing chores.
Exactly. Absorb stuff easily. But it's not just school, is it?
No way. Huge entertainment value.
Totally. That whole parasocial relationship thing, feeling like you know the hosts.
Yeah, like you're just hanging out, listening to friends chat.
That intimacy of storytelling, the humor, the little unscripted moments that feel really authentic.
Mm-hmm. And connection, too.
Big time. Feeling part of a community, sharing inside jokes or cultural touchstones.
Reducing loneliness, maybe? Having voices with you?
Absolutely. And accessing different viewpoints, hearing stories you wouldn't normally encounter.
So learning, entertainment, connection. All very human reasons.
Right. So now take those motivations and think about AI that can mimic human chat, deliver info, maybe even develop patterns that feel like personalities.
You mentioned that different AI models having almost distinct styles.
Yeah, you can sometimes notice it. Which leads to the weird question.
Mm.
Can you form a parasocial bond with an AI host?
Mm. Can you? Even if you know it's code.
It's a really odd thought. Is that personality real in any sense, or just a clever simulation based on data?
And if you do feel a connection, what even is that connection?
Deep questions. And it makes this whole process, us talking about this right now,
Yeah, using AI research to discuss AI podcasts.
it feels like this new kind of collaboration, humans and AI creating something together.
So who's the author? Is it us? The AI? The listener who prompted it?
It really does blur those traditional lines. You know, podcast teams have writers, hosts, producers. Maybe AI just starts filling some of those roles.
A different kind of creative team.
Perhaps it pushes us to think about collaboration differently.
And it comes back to why we consume media at all, doesn't it? Why do we crave personalities, even if they might be constructed?
Exactly. What is authenticity in a podcast? Is it the honest expression of a human being?
Or is it just about compelling storytelling, regardless of who or what is telling the story?
How is listening to an AI podcast really different from, say, reading a book? A book isn't alive, but it can inform you, move you.
Good point. But there's usually a human author behind the book.
True, but the experience of consumption, is it fundamentally different? And what happens if, down the line, you genuinely can't tell if you're listening to a human or an AI?
Does that matter? Does it change how much you trust the information?
Does it change how much we value human creativity, human connection, those unscripted moments?
So wrapping this up, it's clear AI in podcasting isn't just coming, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's evolving incredibly fast.
It really is a fascinating, slightly unnerving, rapid transformation.
Yeah. And it leaves us and you, the learner, and everyone listening with a pretty big thought to chew on. As AI gets woven deeper into our media lives, what happens to that human element we usually look for?
How do we define authenticity, define connection, when the lines are so blurred?
Maybe it's worth thinking about next time you choose a podcast, why you're choosing it. What are you really hoping to get from it?
And maybe, if you're curious, try out one of these AI tools. See what it feels like from the other side.
Definitely something to keep exploring.
Huh.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.